The reporting on Israel's genocide against the Palestinian people is the biggest scandal in Western journalism of our age. And the BBC has been at the absolute heart of that scandal. Ever since this genocide began, the BBC has whitewashed Israel's crimes against the Palestinian people. It has deferred to Israeli lies and spread Israeli lies. It has not even bothered to pretend that Palestinian life has even the smallest fraction of an Israeli life. Over and over again, they have ignored atrocities. They have ignored evidence. They have failed to join the dots about what is happening. And here's the thing. I know what happens with the BBC and people in there. They say, well, these are just political activists. They just want us to regurgitate their particular cause. No, we wanted the BBC to do their job. Because in their constitution, they are supposed to have due impartiality. Impartiality, that's what they're supposed to have. A public service broadcaster, which we, the licence fee payers, are paying for. And they have failed every basic tenet of journalism in this genocide. There is that quote which keeps going round, and I'm going to repeat it because it is instructive, and it is about journalism. If someone says it's raining and another person says it's dry, it's not your job to quote them both. Your job is to look out the fucking window and find out what's true. And that's what the BBC have failed to do over and over again. They didn't try and pretend or somehow disguise what they thought about Russia's invasion of Ukraine or war crimes being committed there. But Israel has committed every single war crime under the sun, and yet if you read the BBC, you will still see them deferring to IDF spokespeople and Israeli authorities as though they're credible in a way they would never dream of doing with Russian sources. That contrast exposes the lie, the sham of what BBC impartiality is supposed to do. And they couldn't even have one documentary exposing the actual reality of the genocide in Gaza. Not even one, because they listened, they gave in as cowards to the lobby, the pro-genocide lobby, and they deferred to them, and now they won't even put other documentaries on which actually show the truth. But I'll tell you this, history is going to be a damning judge. History will judge every media organisation which whitewashed and legitimised one of the great crimes of our age. And just on that, we saw this week that well-known lefty rag, the Financial Times, condemn the silence over the genocide, and a Conservative MP who said he'd been loyal and supportive to Israel all his life, and then he said he's wrong. And that's not to praise them, it's to say that they know the way the wind is blowing, because this crime is too extreme, too apologetic. No genocide has been so documented and so confessed to as it actually happened. And that's why when we fight this genocide to the end, but when this is all over, it's not just politicians who need to go on trial for war crimes. The careers of journalists who legitimise this have to end, including the editors at the BBC. And that's not revenge. I'm not talking about vengeance or anything like that. It's a very basic fundamental point that if there isn't accountability for a crime that has been whitewashed and legitimised, a crime so big, then this will happen over and over and over again. And the careers of journalists and people working in the media have been ended over far less than complicity in genocide. So it's so important. We are holding the feet to the fire. All we're demanding is journalists to do their job, to have actual journalism. And history will record, as I said at the beginning, the greatest scandal in journalism of our times. And that, just to finally end, I have to say this, I'll say it again, because it makes me so angry. It's not just those who cheerlead this genocide, who should just at this point be considered so depraved and sociopathic, there's very little else to add. It's those who are silent. It's the journalists who are silent apart from hand-wringing and platitudes, those journalists who won't speak out after 19 months of depravity and actually speak out about what's happening and report what's happening, they are complicit as well, because every abomination in history was made possible by the silent. So we keep marching, we keep fighting, and we keep demanding that an actual media accountable to us like the BBC, a public service broadcaster, do your fucking job and report on a genocide properly. Free Palestine!